This is the cab from a Fender Blues DeVille with these Alnico speakers. And it sounds like this speaker may be bad. But before I take the speaker out to inspect it, the first thing I notice is that the baffle hardware in this top left corner from my perspective, top right from the player's normal perspective, is missing. So the baffle just may be buzzing here. So I'm gonna put a washer and caps nut on there. And while I have the chassis out, make sure all the speaker screws are actually tight, because they almost never are from the factory. And when you have a screw which isn't quite tight, and then it vibrates a lot over the course of however many years or months, it tends to loosen up. So it's possible that the speaker was buzzing against the baffle, and the baffle was not tight to the rest of the cab up here because it doesn't have this hardware. So I'm going to change that out and then retest and see if the speaker really is bad. Hopefully not. They're expensive speakers, but I can get it reconed for a reasonable price. So let's see what we find. Okay, new caps nut and washer in place, everything tight. All of the others tightened because they're always loose in these amps. That's the Hot Rod and Blues series. So if you own one of these, make sure they can be tightened. As long as the nuts don't come off like this one did, all but this one here can be tightened from the front using a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. This one here on the front has got a badge over it, so you can't access it from the front. And it's a pain in the butt to pull the chassis. The metal foil always tears on the side, and it's hard to pull the chassis without pulling the reverb tank. But depending on the model, you might be able to work your hand up here if you have a little right angle wrench with a 5/16 inch socket. But it's a pain in the butt. Anyway, let's take this and see if that buzz is gone when it's played through now. All right, let's test that speaker. The one where the mic is pointing is the one that had all the suspicious sounds coming from that area that I'm hoping was just the baffle that was loose and the screws that were loose. All right, I think we're good. I'll listen carefully to the playback to hear if this mic heard something I didn't hear in the room. In general, I prefer to mic things back a bit like that. Get a little more natural sound. You're getting more of the entire speaker's response, not just the part that's an inch away from the mic, but let's see how that sounds in person. I think the owner is going to be very happy to know that his speakers are fine. It was just a bunch of loose hardware. There's a little bit of noise you hear in the background, ticky ticky, because I forgot to put my phone in airplane mode, so it's picking up a little bit of the phone. Sorry. Just a quick note on this. You know, this is a Blues DeVille. This is not an expensive esoteric amp. I do a lot of vintage amp restorations. I do a lot of high-end amp work. I do a lot of mods. But I'm also very proud to work on the classic 50s, the classic 30s, the deluxe reverb reissues, the Hot Rod DeVilles, the Hot Rod Deluxes, the Blues DeVilles, Blues Deluxes, even the Blues Juniors, because to every amp owner, that is their amp. And I don't want to tell he or she, or him or her, I'm sorry, your amp isn't nice enough for me to work on. No, it's someone's amp, it's their livelihood or their means of expression in the world, so I treat each one the same, be it a beat up Blues Junior that you got for $200 at a pawn shop, or a 65 Twin Reverb.